You're listening to a Roddenberry podcast.
Oh, look, you're back. I'm back.
Mhm.
Everybody's back. It's Mission Log Engage. it's it's the show where you and I. This is such getting a ton of messages is great. That is what Mission Log is all about. It's about the dialogue. It's about the conversation about Star Trek. But as I've said before on the show and privately, and I feel like our work is done in that 6 to 10 hours or however long it takes to actually put together an episode of Mission Log. So then when it's out there, we've moved on. And it's a lot harder than you'd think to sit down and then like put your mind back to another episode and write out an answer, and because we're writing the next Mission Log by that time. But this is great. Spend a little time each week to look at these emails, chat with each other, and then send the reply back to you. Yeah.
I also love reading all the comments that are coming in, because it's not just the emails that we're reading, but now the comments
Yes.
from these videos that we're making, from the emails that we're reading. So it's a really wonderful way to kind of perpetuate the engagement. Engage.
Oh, there you go.
From all of our listeners.
Yeah, somebody just got a royalty. So this week is fun. We had a fun question yesterday and another fun one right now. So I'll just get right to it. This is about Prodigy. And this is from Ryan. And Ryan says, John and Norman, just listen to the fun supplemental episode with Rod and the new shows and hosts. I'm performing a bit of a social experiment at my house that seems relevant to your Mission Log Prodigy announcement. Back in 2017, I brought my then 9 and 12-year-old boys along for the Discovery premiere and first few seasons. Far from a prude, I did catch myself wondering a few times if that was too early or intense of a Star Trek introduction. Flash forward to now. I have a 9-year-old and a 7-year-old daughters who I will be sitting down with later this week to watch Prodigy. It's not a boy-girl thing. I just had the boys before the girls. I look forward to having one or both of the girls answer the Prodigy questionnaires for the Mission Log podcast. Footnote, I suppose I didn't corrupt the then 12-year-old, now 16-year-old, since he is writing a persuasive writing paper on the societal impact of Star Trek and plans to cite Mission Log as an online resource. LLNP, Ryan. Right back at you, Ryan.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
How cool is that?
Congratulations on that.
Crazy. Crazy. That's awesome, Ryan. Wow, thank you. So there's a few things that I want to address in this. First of all, thank you. It was very cool to have Rod on and talk about, it's an idea that we had talked about a long time, but then it just sort of gelled very quickly to get the show going. And Norman, I'm very proud and very happy with you and what you and Ashley are doing. And I love every week hearing the kids. It's just too much fun. It's so awesome.
Heartwarming.
It is truly heartwarming. So if anybody has not caught that yet, go check out Mission Log Prodigy, and the discussion is great. And at the end, we cap it off with what the kids think about the show. Now, what Ryan is describing here, I really wonder about that. He says that his sons were 9 and 12 at the time that Discovery premiered. And I remember having discussions about this from all different points of view and for a lot of different concerns there. Part of it was just there were some language issues. There were some issues of gore and violence, not a ton of it, but
in Discovery.
Yeah. And then just sort of the stylistic approach that show takes. It is a darker take, certainly more adult, more some heavier ideas going on there. And I really wondered about that for myself. I was 5 when Star Wars came out, and Star Wars is not a violent movie, but there's a big scary bad guy in it, and there is death in it. And as a 5-year-old, I was okay with that. But I also realize that is not a movie that maybe a lot of other parents with 5-year-olds would necessarily feel great about seeing if they're concerned about exposure to violence and that kind of thing. So
Right.
then I fast forward to Discovery and I go like, 5, 7, maybe even 9. Is that a little too young, depending on their particular tolerance or a parent's particular tolerance for what their child sees? And Discovery just may not be that show, you know? I think it's okay for Star Trek now to try to appeal to different audiences in different ways. And I have to say that I'm really relieved that there is a show like Prodigy that is geared specifically toward a younger audience. Doesn't mean that it's not enjoyable or not in grasp of adults as well, but it is specifically aimed at. I mean, what do you think? Like early teen, you know?
Well, Nickelodeon says YA7. So,
Okay,
you know,
7 plus.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'd probably say 7 plus. I think that the real key issue here is the sophistication of the younger audience today, because
Hmm.
younger audiences, like, you know, I was the same age when I saw Star Wars, and I don't remember Star Wars for being a moral tale, which I completely see now,
Hmm.
tales of good versus evil. I saw it was very exciting. The droids were funny. The Jawas were funny. Yes, Darth Vader was scary. So you saw things from the lens of what a younger viewer would see, just from emotional reactionary standpoint. I can't speak to that point for children today because they live in a far more sophisticated world with the kind of connectivity they have on a daily basis and the access to all different types of stimuli
Yeah.
that shape kind of like their worldview, even at 6, 7, or 10 years old.
Yeah.
However, I'll caveat all of that by saying I do think that Discovery is specifically designed for an adult and mature audience.
Yeah.
I think that's fair to say. But what I love about Prodigy is that it's designed for all audiences.
Hmm.
So from a 6-year-old standpoint, based on their level of sophistication and maturity, they'll get out of it what I think the very base messages of it, and that's the base moral meaning or message that you're getting from these. And you hear that in the call-ins from the younger listeners. I mean, when a 6-year-old says that what they learned from an episode was teamwork,
Yeah.
or don't follow bad advice, or these are obviously very basic morals, meanings, and messages, but it doesn't necessarily mean that they aren't for everybody.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sometimes we just have to be reminded in very specific, very basic ways that, treat your fellow human being respectfully, be good to people,
Right.
follow certain rules when they apply, or question them when they don't. So, sure, you can see that as a very basic way of how this animated series approaches younger viewers. But when you really take a look at it, we all still need those types of reminders from time to time.
Yeah. I think it's a great point. My first exposure to Star Trek is honestly before I can even remember it. I just know being very young, and Star Trek was something that I liked because I liked the characters, I liked the colors, I liked the spaceships. I just liked it. But at that age, probably 5 or younger, I wasn't thinking about morals, meanings, messages. But that's kind of the beauty of a show that you can grow into, is that then you discover that as it goes along. You start to see the bigger picture. So, hopefully shows like this, they're going to appeal to different audiences at different levels, and also an audience that can grow into it as well.
And they will grow into it as well.
Yeah.
Because, the more and more and more we get of this, in the future years, these 6 to 8-year-olds are going to be eventually 8 to 10-year-olds, eventually going to be 10 to 12-year-olds. They're going to grow with it the way that audiences, say, grew with Harry Potter.
Yeah, exactly. All right. So, Ryan, thank you so much. And for the rest of you, thanks for checking us out here at youtube.com/Roddenberry Entertainment on the Mission Log Engage playlist. Send us your comments, missionlog@roddenberry.com, or find us on Facebook and Twitter at Mission Log Pod. And remember, we may engage with your comments on the air.